All right, thank God it's Friday today in the city of Abuja. Welcome to all our viewers all around the world. A lot has happened this week, from Natasha to River State to the president coming back. All so much in the political atmosphere. But thank God it's Friday, and we thank God we are here today. With me is Ishaya and Philip. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Like you guys are set for the weekend.
Good morning. Yes,
It's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
What do you think?
Thank God it's Friday.
I said last week, Philip is saying, thank God it's Friday. What do you think? You don't get action. No?
Well,
He's an Isokoma now.
It's Okoma, right?
You
It has some action.
You have quite action.
Okay. Fire, great to see you.
Thank you.
Well done. All right. I want to start with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan today. And the reason is because we want us to move from where we are now to where we ought to be as a nation and as a country. And it started on a very, very political note. He says, any nation that suppresses judiciary, he said, investors don't like coming there. Ishaya.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Because we expect in the local palace that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. Not only common, even the big men. But the way the judiciary is being suppressed now, and they have been scared, afraid of making judgment, passing out judgment. And because by the time you give out judgment that does not favor government, the federal government go after you. I discussed with one of the head of the court, and I was challenging him. Why is it that I see a lot of injustice going? Instead of giving justice, you begin to give. You now change it to become injustice. He said, "Well, I don't know what is going on, because they will sit at the midnight to write the judgment between him and his wife. Tomorrow when they come, EFC will come and carry him and go with him and go and mess him up. Nobody follows him. Nobody. I mean, there will be kind of supporter, kind of people that come for solidarity. At the end, they leave you at the expense of you and your wife and your family, and they spoil your name and all these things. So for that, since they felt that this is the way they want, what they want, they go with them and then give the kind of what the government wants. They'll go it. And he told me that we're in a time bomb, and it's unfortunate that the judiciary have been cowed to join into this kind of rascality, administrative rascality, and join in. Even during the military, we didn't have this. It was a bit. We know it was military, but now it's a civil rule. And at the end, the civilian again have taken things like sometimes they talk to people like say they're not. And once there's no a rule of law, which is have been jettisoned by the society, the judiciary again, which is the arm of the government, is being cowed to do what is wrong. Then, what else can an investor come and do? It's one day they will just revoke your contract or doing this, and we don't need you again. If you go to the court will not give you judgment. And then what else do you have to leave?
Philip, a lot of the people in power today, the president himself has benefited from the judiciary. The court ruled in his favor, even though Obasanjo did adhere, but it's on record that the judge ruled in his favor concerning local government funds in Lagos State. But now, the judiciary is being suppressed. Obasanjo, a military man that could have used a lot of might to do a lot of things, the courts were still standing as at that time. Oshomole, being a governor, is from the judiciary. I mean, today now, exactly. They all boast, talk. Do you understand? Judgment are not what they used to be. Now, if you come and invest, I heard Pastor Matthew Ashimilowo talk about how they invested in one particular property in Lagos and how and meanwhile they got all the documents from the Lagos state government, everything, and they started developing that property. He said all of it went down. The whole money gone into the drain. Where somebody can just sit down, write, and everything you have done. How will investors want to come, knowing that if there is no strong judiciary, they can come? These people that have benefited from the judiciary, how come they are now suppressing the voice of the judiciary?
Good question. The former president, Billy Jonathan, was saying this, that look, if we continue this way, wherein our judiciary are under the caprice of the government, the executive, the judgment, the shown out is what the government want. No investor will risk taking his fund to such country, because, like you rightly pointed out, the example of Matthew Ashimolo, haven't put that magnitude of money into developing Lagos and pass it through the proper procedure, obtaining all the required documentation, and then started work. Obtaining the document alone costs money, and they started the physical development with a fiat. Why is the judiciary mentioned that the judiciary need to be independent and firm for investors to come in? Why they are important is that if we have an independent judiciary, Matthew Ashimolo will simply go to court and sue the agencies that are responsible for and ask for damages, and he will be restored. To that extent, he's sure of his money. His money, his fund will not be at risk. So what Jonathan is saying in essence is this: where you don't have a judiciary that is independent and you take your fund there, you are at risk. You don't have any assurance of you, if anything happen, that you can go to court and seek redress and get justice for whatever may have happened. Then coming to your question, that people who enjoy from independent judiciary are the ones subverting the judiciary today, the answer is very clear. What happened recently in Nepal tells you that in most cases, people who appear to be Democrat or activists, people who appear to be fighting for justice for the masses, when given opportunity to be in power, one would have expected that as a Democrat and activist, he will ensure, because while he was on the other side, he preaches a true federalism, he preaches resource control, he preaches state police, but we are not seeing any of that. Rather, what we are seeing is state capture and pushing the country towards a one-party state. So, when people show to us that they are activists, what the lesson we can take home from here is that we should be careful, because in most cases they are wolves in a sheepskin. They are not their true self, as we've seen in Nepal and reflecting in Nigeria. So what it shows that they know, in answer to your question, they know that if they allow the judiciary to be independent, people can also speak against their deed, what they are not doing, just like they spoke against other persons, and they were able to use the judiciary as an instrument to get justice. They don't want people to get justice. So that is why, first and foremost, they suppress the judiciary, by extension, suppressing the masses. So in response to your question, yes, these people enjoy the independence of the judiciary. They enjoy the process, the judgment that emanate from that those independency. They also, now that they know that this is the avenue people can use to question them, so they first of all to destroy that so that they cannot be questioned. So I think that's what is playing out.
Kekerek, when he came in as the leader of the judiciary in Nigeria, he promised us that we are going to see a lot of changes. We must see those changes, Philip.
You know, it is a common saying that talk is cheap. And the thing is that you have to look at the antecedent of a Kerekoko and his relationship with the present president. When you have all those details, and then those promises, those words he said might just be empty promises. If not, are they reflecting in the judiciary today? So you ask yourself, she promised a lot. She has been in the saddle for over a year. What reform has she brought to the judiciary? What are the judgments that are coming out? It's under her watch that a judgment is given that is few that the suspension the Senate gave to Senator Natasha was excessive, and the same person punishing Natasha, saying that she had
funding at a very low interest rate. Now, how can we as a nation improve the level of not just our security, which is already a problem, but also to make sure that they are what do I call it now? They know that they are helped when push comes to shove. Because in business, you can't always say that there will not be troubles. There will be trouble. It could be in mining, whether solid or petroleum, whatever. It could also be in production, setting up. We already have a power problem where there's no country that strives when it doesn't have power. There's none. Because alternative source of power, we have not even measured on it. How can we woo these people back or woo them in, as the case may be, Ishaya?
I think the country need to sit down and reevaluate its own governance system styles. If you look at critically, just like what you've just discussed about the issue of the judiciary, you know that when those who were being persecuted during the military, and those who felt were being shortchanged and were not being well treated during the Obasanjo regime, and they fought against him. And now that they now had power,
yes.
You see the way they use the power. They don't care. They will deal with you because they needed that power to stand, and they needed those kind of shenanigans, those kind of ungodly behavior, so that they could model and then stand into piece of governance and dispense the governance that is unheard of. And you could see it very critical that the judiciary has been used into that. Look at what happened during when they removed the Chief Justice, because they knew that if he goes there, if he won the election, whether correctly or not incorrectly, the man will not stand by him. We remove him. And that's why there was no basis of removing him. So the judiciary, just like what my brother have said. And then two, coming in terms of business in Nigeria, I've said we need to sit down and then have a total overhaul and then be genuine among ourselves. What do we know? What do we think we're going to do to have a better future that will make our country to move from poverty to prosperity? First and foremost, if you're not in government, in power, if your company comes, they will kill the company, or they will not allow to have any voice. We don't liberalize the kind of the system. Number two, if you come, by the time they say you award this contract to you, the procurement procedure is not well followed. Even though if it's followed, they will tell you this is what we want. Just imagine they say somebody is going to renovate a hall or an event center for
39 billion.
And I asked, for God's sake, did you bring the roof down? Even though I know it's expensive, but however, the roof, most of the things were still there. I went there, I saw what it was. I said, what did they spend this money? What is the justification of this one? So those are the things. Now, by the time you brought the investor, he brought this money and he said, okay, fine, we're taking about either 30% of your money, you will give it, we're going to share to ourselves. And of course, you decide this money. I took money as a loan to make sure that I'm going to do business and make my own decision. At the end, you will take this, I will not be able to deliver the quality of work I want to do there. By the time I leave this country and I go back to my distance, if there's a kind of investigation to reappraise what kind of performance of that project is, they will call you back. And your company will say, no, we don't know you do this kind of this thing. So those are things you consider this thing again. What roles is the government going to play at that time? So we have to be sincere. That's why I say we need to sit down as a country. And then the issue of, again, the power is very expensive. It's becoming too exorbitant. It's very expensive. If I am going to produce something here, and if I produce, I'm going to sell it at more than expensive that if I import it from the country. You find out that I'll say, let me rather bring it from the country, because I was asked about these people that do rice, one business. They said, look, if we import rice from Nigeria, it's cheaper. But when we farm it in Nigeria, it's expensive because the fertilizer is quite expensive. The government is not ready to subsidize that. I give everything that they...
Even the subsidized one, politics get into it.
Take it into it. They took some to my local government in my state, and they gave them fertilizer. And they now said, when they brought the fertilizer, they brought at the according to the pronouncement, that is going to be at a very good rate, subsidized rate, at half of that rate, half of it. But you couldn't even access, nobody could access to see one of the fertilizer. What happened? The local government chairman cutted all of them, and then he gave it to some of his supporters. And so that is the problem. We are not having kind of all-inclusiveness. When politics is politics, we go for politics. But when politics is settled, we go for governance. But we don't distinguish between those two lines. Once I've won, I'll take it up. If you are not with me, I'll just sideline you. So I hope we need to sit down again and reevaluate our own conscience and look at what is good for the nation. Genuinely, where do you want this country to go in the next 10, 20 years? Because we just we're moving from one piece forward, one piece backward. Right from the Obasanjo tried, and then we had this issue again. And I was shocked when yesterday I heard about the issue of power, that the Agunloye was even arraigned again for $25 billion of power that was accounted for.
This was in
It's 25 years, almost 25 years.
Yes.
And I asked again, really, it was it. So you say you look at that as a problem. We need to sit down and tell ourselves the truth. Do we want this country to go? We don't want to, or do we want to remain like this? Because if corruption is not completely eroded out of the system, honestly speaking, I very well. We are hopeful that we'll have a better nation in the near future.
Okay, all right. We hope so, but you see, most of the time,
That.
in fact, do you know when everybody was criticizing Okojo, well, I didn't criticize her because you see, I think he spoke the way she's supposed to have spoken.
Definitely.
She said the naira is stable. Whatever we say, whether they buy dollar or whatever, is stable right now. He said we should see that there's a social this thing going around, which you can ease by a quick development that people can see. Do you understand? And all that. He said the social net should spread. And in spreading the social net, we know what we are talking about. I don't know if you understand. It could be providing social amenities.
Yes.
Do you understand? Making the light work. It doesn't have to be that you give money directly. Because if you give money directly and the goods, plenty money are chasing few goods, there's going to be inflation.
Sure.
Do you understand? And all that. Well, let's move on. Let's look at the issue of Showore. Before I come to Showore, let me finish with the Lagos State government. The Lagos State government says they denied rescue lapses. Says victim died from smoke inhalation. You and I saw it on television as they were putting foams on the ground for people to jump. If there was ladder that could go up to the second floor or third floor, it could help people to come down. Instead of giving excuses, why don't we say, let's look forward to take responsibility and say, let's upgrade what we have? Because we don't normally prepare for this disaster to happen. Look, there's what you call pre-disaster, there's disaster period, and there's post-disaster. And like I said, there's the IRA disaster management in master's level. Now, which of them, when that building was being put up, the fire service, did they come and check all the fire
hydrants?
Exactly. Were they even hydrants? I'm not sure that building, if that building have hydrants, they could have connected hose to those hydrants and the water will come up.
Yes.
But they are not there. What of fire exit? Were they there? Do you understand? Were the people always trained? Now, I want you to talk about it. Instead of us giving excuses, can we always accept and move forward?
Well, for me, when I look at it, and if I will do my assessment, there was a kind of administrative lapses. And in terms of building lapses, engineering lapses, and in terms of construction lapses. And then even in terms of the fire service. Because if as big as Balogun, Mandila's market, as big as, you don't have a good fire station. A fire station that should be positioned there, at least not than 5 trucks. That will be on that. The electrical, they didn't bring on their own. What? Because if you are building that kind of a building, there must be an outlet, an exit, escape route. You can build at the back of the distance. When there's any problem, everybody move to that side. That's what they call the muster point. Everybody move there, and then from that you just build a small. It be a kind of that route would just be for emergency exit only. And I think we should think of that from now and see how we can help. Because as large as Lagos has been there for years, and yet this building cannot. I felt very embarrassed and ashamed. The fire service could not come up on time. And now they don't have ladders in that Mandela's market that they can move. There are ladders that can move almost about
10 floors.
10 floors. They just put it and press it. Everybody then
looking at the economy of Lagos.
Yes.
They can have those kind of,
Because-
and you know those Mandelas. Sorry
Yes,
to
sir.
disturb you. Those Mandela, the economy of Mandelas
Oh my God,
alone.
it's a lot of money.
Just Mandelas is bigger than the economy of a lot of other
A
small
car
nations that
park,
we
car
have.
park is 2,000 naira per a day. Pay 2,000 or 3,000 naira per day. And how many cars enter there every day? I've been to Manila, but now they moved 5,000 naira a day. So it's a lot of money to make there, and then somebody is making the money, not even giving the money back to the system. It's unfortunate, and it's ungodly, and God will judge some of these people that are in that kind of this. It's very. I felt very bad that some people died because of carelessness.
Of some other people.
Yes, because
for example, they said it was inverter batteries. Let me move to Philip. Let's say the basement was not for inverter batteries. Now, time has passed. You are now incorporating inverter batteries into the building. Am I correct?
Yeah.
For, let's say, other source of energy. Now, where you are putting it, was the electrical engineer, did he calculate? Do you understand what will take it in existing with what the cables that are on ground is existing with it? I mean, they cannot, because they are the controlling agency. They can't say they are not culpable. They're trying to wriggle themselves out of the blame. Lagos State government.
You see, this is the only country where people don't take responsibility for their action, especially those in government. They always find excuses when they should take responsibility. I remember you didn't mention that instead of, your question, instead of thinking of the way forward, now going forward, what do we do? But rather, they are shying away from taking responsibility. Now, when he was talking, he said, for you to build that kind of a building of that magnitude, all the experts that are involved, the architect, the builder, the civil engineer, the mechanical engineer, they had a role to play. And now you came up to say that as at the time the building was put in place, there were no provision for alternative energy.
Exactly.
And when we are going to do that, you are meant to get approval from the Lagos State government. And this has to be done by experts, both in government and those who are trying to incorporate that alternative energy. The question is, do they get approval? Who gave the approval? What was the finding they made before they approve it? Do they take the cognizance of the wiring, the electrical wiring, vis-a-vis the new, alternative energy they are bringing in, if they are entitlement, before it was approved? These are questions begging for answer. And who is meant to do all of this approval and assessment? Is it not the Lagos State government? You are talking about what has happened after the fire outburst, that is because the smoke they hid that killed them. We are talking about what you could have done to prevent this happening. Your negligence led to the hailing of the smokes that eventually takes this life. And you are saying that it's not your fault? When you could have averted it? That is the question. So, this is why we say all the time that, look, governance is beyond carrying the toga of being a governor or a director and all that. Governance is about providing services. And what the services is expected from government. Services that will safeguard the life of people and properties and make life more meaningful
To the people.
to the people. So once you face short of this, you have failed. No excuse about it. So when you come to say that it wasn't because there were no prompt action, like they rightly pointed out, is there a fire service station within that Mandelas? There's none. That is why they said they came late. You understand?
Yes.
And you also said you saw from the television, the pictures, that they were placing mattress on ground for people.
People jumping.
When you were supposed
soft landing.
to put a ladder that people can, come down to spread like 4 or 5 ladders around the building. People can find their way out. And they also made a very vital point. You build such an edifice. There's no muster point. There's no fire route. There's no exit, nothing. Because in every building, if you go to advanced wall, you see fire exit. Every building, fire exit. Whether it's even residential or commercial, there's always a fire exit. Because this thing can happen anytime. Nobody is saying that you are the cause of the fire, but you should be able to create escaping route for people. So whatever has happened is the neglect of government from doing what
they're supposed to do. You know, every building have their own fire department. You know, the Twin Towers, that's the World Trade Fair Center that was bombed. They have, not just only that, they have their own fire department. It's an everyday routine to go through all the protocols of service to make sure that no one is neglected. And look at Abuja now. We're talking about Lagos right now. Abuja is getting to have a lot of high-rise buildings. I mean, a lot of, now that we are in a modern age, all these fire precautions, are they incorporated into the building? Fire service, do they come to guide? We have the state fire service, we have the federal fire service. Do they come to guide when a building is going up? All the restaurants that are coming up, massive one, do they go there or they just go there, serve letter and they are tipped and that's all? These are many other things that we need to start doing. Should not start, when the thing has happened, that's when we not start finding solution. We could have done it to make sure that the things don't come up. Well, we've been praying for those that lost their life, you know, businesses. I wanted to say it. I hope these buildings are insured. I really hope they're insured.
It's an insurance company, most like it wasn't an insurance company. The first one was an insurance company, Abi.
That owns it?
Yeah, it's an insurance company.
That owns the building?
Yes, it's an insurance company. So
Okay.
they may be able to do that.
To do that.
But it's a waste of money now. He would have used that money for it.
Well, because those that lost their life today,
How do that? Lost their life. It was an embarrassment. I've seen people jumping with their back, laptop back, they would throw it and then jump.
Exactly.
Oh my God. That's-
All right. On a lighter note, we saw article with a boss, you know, whether somebody donated it to him for his campaign organization, branded it ADC. But I should think that maybe somebody branded it because we didn't see a wide range of them. Maybe it can't be just be the only branding one. If he's into it, maybe like should have had like 50, 100, you know, to settle. And also him knowing that campaign have not started, I don't think he will go into branding. Maybe somebody branded it and gave it to him.
You know, Nigeria is full of sarcophags and sarcophants. You see, it is well, we just saw the pictures, we don't know the details, but I believe sincerely, like you said, somebody who want to be in the forefront, that I'm the first to contribute to the campaign. So if you are there, when you get there, I should be the first to be compensated. These are the kind of thing we do in Nigeria that are not right. That is why sometimes when we talk about the performances of the leaders, so we should also talk about the behavior of the people.
The people.
What could warrant branding a car at this time for Atiku? When the man, although the man said I'm contesting, when the man had not clicked the ticket of the ADC,
He has not even picked up the party
membership card, and you are just branding a car for ADC for him, because I can't imagine Atiku branding one car for himself when he has not picked the ticket, and it's not. I don't think it's anywhere in that story. So the masses should be wary of their own behavior, because they are the architect of their own problem. They are contributing to their problem, because they have to know that things have to be done rightly, whichever way you find yourself, whether you are at this end or you are that end. What I meant, whether you're in leadership or you are being led, you should be able to do things rightly.
Are you sure it's the masses that did that?
Well, it's a speculation.
Because the masses that doesn't have money, you can't buy that kind of vehicle.
We have seen them do a lot of that.
Some of his followers that are there,
That's what I'm saying. The followers, the sarcophagi.
Sarcophagi are there. They are the big men. Look, I was just listening to Daniel Bwala when he was trying to finish what's the name, Peter Obi. That Peter Obi he doesn't give money more than 5 million address, this and that. And I asked, have you started campaigning when he was campaigning for Tinubu's son? Have you started campaigning? So those are the issues that we have lost it, and we're running away from the real genuine practicing of political practicing to our self-discipline. We've changed it. We've changed the tides. When INEC is talking, nobody, did anybody answer INEC? Because who appoints INEC? So it's I hope the way we are doing it's unfortunate though. I hope we don't go and put ourselves into inside basket water and pour water in basket, whatever can hold the water. So it's just unfortunate. You may blame the whole masses will go and that kind of bus and buy.
When I say masses, you and I are masses, and I know you can afford to buy a bus for on the right hand. So when you do it,
are you putting me on the spot?
when you say whoever that did it, whoever that did it, the person is not in leadership. He's always trying to curry a favor from Atiku if eventually Atiku becomes, the president.
And it's not reverse always the case.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Those that first start to help this, they won't even hear them. They will not even see them.
That's what they fail to realize. That's why I said Nigeria believe in sacrifices and being sacrificed.
And it's unfortunate.
So when I mean the masses, it's not the down to down through that. These people who can see masses.
When you're a chairman of a state.
I'm a masses. I belong to the masses.
First of all, we will take this your eyeglasses and sell it. All right, that's just.
So if the man was reinstated and the man had tools that he works with, he should come to work with his tools. And his tools in this regard are his aides, his commissioners, his appointee, and the rest of them. Here we are. That is why, my colleague yesterday made it very clear that, look, it's a very complex thing. That I should bear in mind the judgment of the Supreme Court that says that the budget he presented to 4 members of the House was null and void. That I should go and present budget to the Mantis, Amewele-led House. And that if the Supreme Court has said that the budget is null and void, that it then means that those commissioners are cleared by those 4 persons
null and
void, which is a very strong point. So here is the issue. That's why I raised an issue that if you are saying that the act they did outside the law, government, those questions are there. And now you ask of a budget. I'm glad that yesterday you were the one that said it.
Yeah.
That IBAS presented a budget to the National Assembly for Rivers State.
Yes.
And it was scrutinized and passed. And the budget was for 1 year. Now, the House of Assembly.
Sir, the budget was not just scrutinized. IBAS appeared before the National Assembly.
That is the scrutiny. That's the scrutiny. You came to defend the budget.
Exactly.
So, which has the scrutiny. So now, that budget is in place. It's ongoing. Anyway, I'm not surprised because we are in Nigeria today. We have 3 budgets running concurrently. The House of Assembly is now saying that it should represent the budget, just like in consonant with the judgment of the Supreme Court, to them, so that they can pass it, and that it should represent a name of its nominee for confirmation for commissionership. Now, what about the budget confirmed and passed by the National Assembly for Rivers State that the BAS only spent, because not to 3 months, because it was appointed before the budget was presented and before it was passed, it took almost a month. So the budget had hardly go through 3 months usage, and now you're asking for another budget. So how this what where are they leading us to? That's why I said yesterday without minding words that look, Rivers State has turned a banana republic because they don't work within the confines of the law. Everybody, they just do things in their own way. And that's what is playing out. You suspended somebody, you reinstalled him. When you restored him, the person was not sworn in. You are saying that he should act as if he's just starting government afresh. Because it's not as if he dissolved his ESCO. So it's a big confusion. I think they are in a state of confusion. Because if you look at the meaning of the word suspension in dictionary and lifting of suspension and reinstatement, it just means the person has been asked to be on standby on hold pending some certain issue. And once the person is restored, he comes back with his tools. That's why continue work. So I don't know. I don't really know.
Let me take you on this other leg, because now that's the part of the legislature that happened yesterday. But the part of the executive that happened yesterday was that Fubara wasn't in the state as at yesterday. From what we know from Mr. Nyesom Wike is that he spoke to Fubara and he said he will be in the state by today. His supporters were not too happy that he was not there yesterday. Of course, normally nobody will be happy that they didn't see their governor yesterday. But from the feelers we are getting, rumors that we are getting, they say rumors are unconfirmed truth, is that the reason that the governor resumed yesterday, that there's still some gray areas that needs to be attended to. For example, the chief of staff is a very vital part of the government of any governor or even the administration. That there are things Mr. Nyesom Wike is still asking for. But I remember that Shehu Akimbole asked him that, will you nominate people into his cabinet? He said no. That even if he asks him, he will say no, that is his government. But that what he's fighting over is that he should not bring down the government from the level he took it up to. I wonder when he has become the class monitor of Rivers State. People were there before. They didn't give him those conditions. So that's one of the rumors why he was not at the state yesterday. I want you to talk on this state.
Well, I feel for Fubara. Honestly, I feel for him because he's like, you giving me, I'm hungry, you give me a plate of rice, and then you pour sand inside it, and then mix the sand and the rice together, and give me to eat. Now, how will you why will I battle with the rice? Will I remove the rice before I eat? I will join them the sand and eat together, and it becomes a distant to me, an unhealthy food to me. How will I eat it? If you look at the whole of this problem, I blame the president, Mr. President, because he has taken side of Mr. Wike, and Mr. Wike is ready to pull that state down because he believes he owns the state. I listened to Wike yesterday in the channels when he said that, and I asked, does Wike don't have a job to do? That he watched the people that came to receive Fubara yesterday. He says some bad people again are still there. People are still there. And I asked, you don't have that? You don't have work, and you are going to concern yourself to go and motion this thing. So critical, just like what Philip said, you've been on suspension, and all the powers that were stripped off. You came back, it's been lifted. They say you go ahead. Why should they say that I should go and present the budget? And I watched Amawele yesterday. He's kind of facade. Arrogance is still there in him. And I believe that, honestly speaking, it's not yet over. As long as, even if you take me there now, I have to stand my foot as a governor. But I notice he has given all the power to his people. And then the governor has been stripped off. You just carry, it's just like you carry power, you just carry him and give me. The powers are not with me. And then the federal government sees that they allow that to go. Judiciary too were complacent on this matter. Now, why should we say he's going to present budget? Because he has come to pass the budget by National Assembly. Okay, I ask again, how about the chairman of the independent chairman of RASEC?
Yeah.
Are they going to remove me again? When the National
has his job come to an end?
Has it come to an end because he has done the job what they brought him into? So it's unfortunate. If you say you will continue, there's continuity, go ahead with the budget being passed by the sole administrator, by the National Assembly. And then again, he should come back with his commissioners, except those you feel you don't want, then we'll go on a negotiation. Okay, who and who you don't want. But you cannot say I should take the whole commissioner, Wike should nominate everybody. And the way they just came yesterday, I listened to them. 3 of them spoke. One spoke about they should investigate the outgoing administrator, the expenditure. And I asked, didn't he go to their own personal pocket? I don't know what happened at that time. And then 2, they said they should behave now, maturely. I listened to one, they said
they are talking about the executive governor of the state.
Behave now, maturely. They should not go that kind of trajectory again. And then the other one said he should present the list of nominee for commissioners. And if you look at the way Amahule was talking, you could see the kind of arrogance. So I feel for Fubara and the deputy. They are coming into a lot of hope. They are going to march into a lot of pins. They will march into nails and stand. And it will be very painful for them. So I don't know how he's going to navigate and get out of this rules. And unless there is genuine reconciliation and there's a respect, there's a kind of separation between powers, between the legislative and the legislative. Even though the judiciary, they've taken the judiciary, they gave him, because that man that was supposed to stood by Fubara has retired. And then they brought their own person. So
there's a new chief judge now.
There's a new chief judge. That man was about 2-3 months ago. About 3 or 4 months. That's when when
he went on a leave.
If they had gone for that impeachment, it wouldn't have worked. Because he really want to constitute the panel. And he was 100% with Fubara. And that's why when Wike was abusing that, he said corrupt person, and there's no insult, they insult him. Because the man did not compromise this thing. And then when Fubara left again, they decided to cajole most of his strong allies, especially that Bamsek that was saying that he collected some money. So it's unfortunate. I don't know how he's going to survive with these 2 years with these people, because already they've carried and put inside the dungeon of lions. And the way and manner you behave, it may woo you, it may eat you, or it may survive.
Okay, so
but I wish him well.
We really wish him well. Fubara still talking about daily Toye Cole, and said that because Toye Cole came on
Wike.
Yeah, Wike. Sorry, Wike. Thank you. Talking about Toye Cole, and said that if he said he had the power to chill Toye Cole. I mean, well, in any case, he talked about everybody, but he talked about Cole. Then he also talked about Showore, and said that Showore should be happy that he has a president that will listen. He said, "You are lucky to have a law-abiding president." So I asked, are we in a banana republic that people should not listen to should not be law-abiding the way he is not law-abiding?
What will he do?
So what will he do to Showore?
You know, Wike. I'm tired of talking about Wike because Wike is not Nigeria. Nigeria is not Wike. I can't see myself talking about Wike every day. Wike opened his mouth on Shana yesterday. He started with Tambowa. I think we called them betrayer and their consistent betrayer.
Yeah.
So they are best of the same feather. They flock together. All the rest of them.
Talked about Jonathan.
Talk about Jonathan. That Jonathan should be wary of.
Should not allow himself to be used.
People are asking him to come and run. He say blah blah blah. That Jonathan had not sit down with him to tell him he wants to run. That his support is for Tinubu. Who is Wike for Jonathan to sit with to tell that he want to run? How did Wike came on board without Jonathan and Amesi, for crying out loud? So this Wike thing, he's saying, he talk about Tinubu being law-abiding president. If he wasn't a law-abiding president in the first place, he won't be elected as president, because the president has to live by example. So I wonder what he says. So he wanted him to be quality of Fubara and the end of emergency rule in
River State.
You see, like when we made mention of Toye Cole, that Toye Cole came to meet him. Remember that Toye Cole was the governorship candidate of the APC in the last election. That the moment he noticed that he had issue with Fubara, he came to him and he asked him, what about your loyalty to our mission? He said he doesn't care at this point. All he wants to work with him and the rest of them. Yes, they are all playing politics. We know that they are all the same people. It was also rumored that Wike was considering, removing, Fubara and giving the power to Toye Cole. That was why the 27 members of the House of Assembly on television defected to APC. And when they found that the people now drew his attention to the fact that can you trust Toye Cole, relationship with Amesi vis-a-vis you, that if he's leaving the matter to you, can you rely? It was at that point he made a U-turn and changed his mind. So when Wike thinks he's talking to fools as children when he speaks on national television. He came out, it's not anxious that things had to be spared out before he resumed. You don't want to be casual into resumption and tomorrow he's been impeached. Let's have a clear understanding. Because what we think that he would just jump into Port Harcourt yesterday and assume office. He never did that. And up to now, we are not aware that he's there. It's wicked that we say that they spoke and he's coming. The man had not made any statement. Over a week, the man had not said anything about how he's going to come back. When he's come back, the man had just been quiet. He's taking his time. Yes, we saw those things that, look, there are some still gray area. If you said you have reconciled and there's peace, why are they still have gray area at this time? After 6 months. What it means that Fubara could be restored on paper and Fubara could choose to stay away from the government house. So let's see how they will run the state. It's in government. There's no trouble. It's not resuming. How do you run the government? Fubara has so many ways to deal with it quietly. This is the best way to protest, and I think it's employing the best way. I hope he won't give in so easily. You understand? So it's also showed that the reception given to his reinstatement yesterday show clearly that Fubara is becoming very popular in Rivers State. Because the report was that the whole Rivers, the Port Harcourt was, Japan was shut down. Vehicle couldn't move freely, especially the route leading to the government house. And this is a man that said he doesn't have anybody. I think a lot is going to play out in the near future. We have not seen anything yet. We don't know what is in Fubara's mind, and I love it that way. Not saying anything, and it's just you just see the action. First action, they showed that I'm not crazy to resume office. You suspended me for no just cause. Now that you are bringing me in, I think there's a story that you cannot, I can't remember that you cannot deal with. Disgrace me publicly and then from behind
cover me up
quietly. So do it the way you did it before. Also bring me up publicly. I just stayed back. They have not said anything why he didn't come. It is being speculated why he had not resumed office. But this is a very, very silent way of protesting. Yes, you have pronounced it to the whole world that he has been reinstated. But has he resumed the office? He's not crazy for the office. So
it's still the same.
So I wish him well.
We wish all of them in Rivers State very well.
Their popularity. If you see yesterday, the kind of people that came out, you know that there's a kind of solidarity.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sure you're not happy with that. If they leave them now, I'm not sure when they go on that free and fair, you cannot stand that person now. It make him to be very popular. So let's see how it goes.
Thank you guys for staying. This is all the news we have. I think just by the wayside, I heard the Anglican Communion have created a lot of other dioceses across the whole country. The church is marching on and moving on. We pray that all the religions we have, they will all spread peace and tranquility, where we'll be able to live among ourselves peacefully, and the teachings of Christ and of Muhammad that are dominant will permeate the people's heart.
What about the African tradition? What about the artists?
It's not official yet.
It's official. It's indigenous for us.
I still congratulate Philip too. His home diocese was given the created one diocese too.
Okay. Maybe we'll soon become the bishopric of that.
We have gotten a bishop. We are very good.
All right.
Dume is there. We congratulate him. Those are our friends in Dume, Akuna, and Daju. Three of them were elected as bishops.
All right. We pray that by this Friday, by now, our Muslim brothers will be going to the mosque. Please let's adhere strictly to the teachings that uplift people and not just a particular set of people. Whether they are bandits and all that, we advise them to stay off what is not right and do what is right. I normally say I schooled in Zaria. We could go from 11 p.m. in the night to Zaria by night. I mean, we know that the roads are free. You're going to get to Zaria freely, even from Abuja.